We created Bot Academy as a place for people to learn about the power of chatbots so that they understand how this new way of communicating with customers is working. I recognize that just like we are texting all the time on our phones with our friends, with our loved ones, with our coworkers, Marcella and I were texting each other all morning to make sure that we were all set up here for her to record, for me to broadcast, and for all of you to get everything that you came into here for. We weren't emailing. We weren't calling. We were text messaging each other. And as people-to-people communication is switching to chat, we're recognizing that businesses need to do that too. Businesses need to reach their people using chat apps like Facebook Messenger, like text. Kind of weird this morning. Ashton Kutcher started a whole text thing. And so I was getting messages from Ashton Kutcher. Here, look, let me show you on my screen here. Ashton Kutcher is doing a thing where he's now switching from Twitter, which he helped pioneer, to text messages as a way of communicating with his fans. We're seeing this happen. And businesses are shifting over, and we created Bot Academy as a place to train you so that you can learn how to use chat to communicate with your prospects, to communicate with your customers, to communicate as a business with human beings. And then we realized, you know what businesses really want is not to do this themselves. They want to hire professionals like you, Daniel, like you, Calvin, like you, Abid. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And Jennifer and Scott and all those people who have been listening live with us. And so we started training you on how to create chatbots. And also, hey, Twanbury, you too. We started training all of you to create chatbots, but also showing you how to get clients who will pay you to build chatbots for them. The problem with getting clients is it's not a process where you just put up a page and they sign up. It's not a process where one day you email somebody or call somebody or text message them and then the next day they sign up. It's a process that takes time and takes a methodology to close sales. And so if it takes time, if it requires a methodology, you need a way to keep it organized so that you don't screw up by messaging somebody with an offer and then forget who they are, or even worse, send somebody an offer and then forget to even follow up. And as you grow, you don't want to do this all on your own and try to figure out step by step what needs to happen. And so we decided, we need software to do this. And as I've been looking around, I've discovered that the best software to manage the sales process is SalesFlare. I'm really excited to learn more about SalesFlare, which is why I invited Lieven here to teach me how to use it and then to teach all of you how to use this. Now, again, if you never do anything with chatbots, if you sell it all, you're going to want to understand how this software works, because if you sell methodically, you'll be able to close more sales. If you sell methodically, you'll be happier and prouder of the process. If you sell methodically, your customers are not going to have this weirdo experience where one day you're excited and the next day you disappear, but they're going to have a process that you keep building and building on yourself. And then you could eventually start to bring other people on your team, hire them or bring them on if you've already hired them to help. I'm excited for everyone who's here. Hi, Brett. Hi, Heike. Everyone, if you're listening to me, Nathan, if you're listening to us, let us know in the chat by saying hi. Lieven, I'm going to let you just say hi to make sure that you can hear us okay and that you're coming through to us.
I can hear everyone okay. Hi,
Great.
everyone.
Thanks for helping me. Welcome, Lieven. Guys, please say hi. Welcome him. I want him to get to know you in the chat, and I want you to get to know him and his software. So, Lieven, we're going to have you turn on your screen share in a moment and just walk us through how this software works. Yep. What is the most important thing that somebody like April who came here, April, I love that you keep chatting up with us. What is the one thing that someone like April or someone like Scott can get out of this session, can get out of SalesFlare that they couldn't get if they weren't using it?
Well, the easiest way to explain it is actually how it all started for us.
Yep.
We actually, a couple of years ago, actually about 5 years ago, we went to Vegas to a conference.
Okay.
It was for our previous company, which did business intelligence integration software. But that's a whole other story. But we went to Vegas and we came back with hundreds of leads. We started emailing them. We used a CRM. But that didn't help us out in, reminding us when to follow up. Were the people still interested in what we were saying or doing? Did they read our emails actually?
Yep.
So all information we were missing in a classical CRM. So based on that, we actually started in a spreadsheet because there was no system that could help us out. But of course, a spreadsheet is still a lot of manual data input. And then we figured, well, actually all this information is already available somewhere. There's information on the internet online. There's information in your email. There's information in your phone. There's information in your calendar, and so on. So based on that, we started to develop a CRM. For us, it's like the next way of a CRM is like, instead of making the salespeople input all the data themselves and doing everything themselves, we figured, let us build a system that does as many things automatically as possible, so the salesperson can really focus on what he's best in, and that's selling and communicating with the customer.
Ah, okay. So I think of you guys as the organizers of the sales process. One of the things that I've noticed when I talk to people who are selling, especially early on, is they think, nobody loves me. Nobody loves my product. It's not working. And they failed. Or if I taught them something about sales, they think, Andrew, maybe you're not really there. Maybe this isn't working. And I've had this happen several times. And my technique for that is I tend to use Zoom for these one-on-one meetings intentionally. Even if they call me on the phone, I say, let's hop on Zoom. Hey, I know it's going to take a moment, but let's hop on Zoom. We do Zoom so that I could then fire off a message to them to have them share their screen. And they'll share their screen. I go, show me how many people you reached out to. And I've had this happen so many times, especially one person. I was thinking about calling him out, but I won't, in case he's embarrassed by this. Where with this person specifically, he said, I sent a bunch. I'm not sure where they are. I said, let's go into Gmail. Let's keep looking. Goes, Andrew, I'm worried about taking your time. I had tons of time. My wife was going to pick up the kids from school. I said, show me. Let's go look. We hunted down, and what we found was he sent 2 messages, and he had 1 long message in his draft folder, which was stupid long, but that's a story for another time. He thought he sent out to a lot of people. The fact that these 2 people were so important to him and they didn't respond made him feel like a failure. And so I knew at that moment, what we need to do is give people a way of tracking how many offers they put out there. Give people a way of tracking where they are with the sales process, so they could see right there on their screens clearly they only put out 2 offers, or they only put out 10 offers. I don't even think 10 are enough. And are they following up with the people who they put out offers to? Or are they thinking, well, I didn't get a response, that means I failed? Ooh, if I told you how many times I asked my wife out before she said yes, you would you would wonder if I should have kept going. But I did, and now we've been married almost 10 years. We're about to go to Africa to celebrate our 10-year anniversary in October. So that's why I think of you. But you're saying it's more than that, Andrew. You're saying SalesFlare is also about automating some of the processes that we, as people who are putting offers out into the world, need to do. Am I right?
Yeah, well, as a salesperson, the thing is, a computer is a good brain. Mm-hmm. They have all the information they need. So you as a salesperson, it's impossible to have 1,000 leads in your brain and know every one of them and know where they are in the process. It's just impossible. It's even impossible to keep it in a spreadsheet. So that's what we try to do. And not only that, we also try to remind you and say, okay, listen, this person is in this stage of the process. It has been a while since you have been in contact with them, so you should follow up. And these are things that a computer is good at. It's just data processing.
Give me an example. Let's be more specific. And I know we're going to turn on your screen and you're going to share it. And then guys, stick around for the end of this program, because at the end of this section, because he will give you free access to his software. You can go out there and use it. This is not like a hard sell where you learn the stuff and then you have to go and buy it. He's going to let you use it. He's going to let you get sales from it. So we will see the screen. We will learn the process. What he's teaching you will help you sell more. And then if you want to use the software to do it, you can. But first, let's understand. Let's be more specific. I'm sorry to grill you here, but that's kind of what I'm known for. Give me specific automation, even if it's something tiny. What's a tiny little bit of automation that is eye-openingly interesting?
There's so many. Let me give you 3 examples.
Okay, yeah.
So when you start using SalesFlare, you just connect your email, and we go through your emails, suggest contacts you have been in contact to. We find public information for them, and we even scrape your signature, so all the data from email signatures is already in your system. And then
let me pause right there. This is something that people I've noticed do manually, and I've told people to do this a little manually. What you're saying is, look, every salesperson who gets started starts selling people who they've connected with in the past. Why force them to go into their inbox and try to think of who they talked to in the past who could be a good customer? Got it. I had no idea. Okay, so that's one feature. Sorry, you were going to continue to tell me more, but I wanted to underline that because that's important. Okay.
So not only on a contact level, we automatically fill out that data, but also on an account level. So once you start creating companies in the CRM system, it automatically is going to find public data available about that company. And then it's going to show you all the interactions you already had in the past with those people within the company. So you don't need to fill out and remind and fill out everything you have been doing up till now. No, it's going to show you every interaction. And the cool thing is that it even happens that we now, for us, for example, that we have been in contact like over a year ago. But
you and I, yes.
Yeah, that we were in contact with the company for over a year ago. We didn't think they were a lead, so we didn't actually create them in the CRM yet. And then we create them, and automatically all the past information, all the past things we discussed with them automatically come in, even of things years ago. So it's very interesting to know, for example, that a salesperson in your company has already been in contact with those people a year ago, and they know them better, and then you can connect them with them. And
Got it. Okay, so let me suggest this. So imagine if Iqbal, who's here in the chat with us, he and I were starting a chatbot marketing agency, and somebody started to say to him that they were interested in buying from us, that they were interested in getting a chatbot built. He would automatically have all the past contacts that I had with that customer in the sales record of the customer. So he wouldn't have to treat the person like a stranger, but instead could say, hey, I see you and Andrew have chatted about using chatbots in the past. I'm glad to see that you've decided to proceed with this. What got you more interested now? I know that you and Andrew have talked in the past. Why today? Got it. Okay. So it's more for him. It's for him to know the past experiences he's had with a potential customer, but also if two people are working together to know that there's been experience, right? Which a lot of times happens in business, right? It's not like somebody comes, well, we do, and we love people, strangers, to just come in and say we want to buy, but often there's that touch point where, who is this person? Am I interested? They come in and they ask a few questions, then they disappear, and then they ask a few more questions via email, and then they come back in and they decide that they're going to buy. Okay, all right. So that's one automation. Let's go through two because I want to rush this along to see the software. What's another two pieces of automation that we'll understand?
And well, another very cool thing which we hear often from customers is like, well, I sent a lot of emails, but then I just forgot about the emails I sent them. And then suddenly SalesFlare said to me, hey, it's been a while since you have been in contact with this person and he's in this stage, so it might be interesting to get in contact with them again. And then what you hear a lot of our customers that they say like, oh my God, I just won a deal and I was totally forgot that I even sent him an email. I just won the deal. So, and that's something that SalesFlare keeps reminding you that you need to follow up. And it keeps you reminding you at the right pace. So depending on the stage you're in, you can set reminders and choose, well, how many days does it take, until I can get in contact with them again. So for example, in an earlier stage, it might not be that interesting, but if they're qualified, then you should regularly follow up with them. But that's something that the system does for you. And it happens a lot that people just completely forget about a lead, and that suddenly it pops up and they win it.
Right.
Because the system helps you.
Right. Think about anything that you've bought in the past. How many times did you think about buying it before you finally said, okay, it's time? This weekend, my wife and I went camping. Camping is the easiest thing to do. You just go sleep out in nature in a tent that you can rent from Sports Basement, which is what we did. We thought about it so many times. We called so many times. And that's like nothing of a decision to go sleep outside in a tent. People have been doing it for thousands of years. And still we did that. And I think the same thing is true for our customers. If they're interested in us, they're not just popping in and buying often. Though I told you, we do love when they do that. They do that and we want that. But a lot of times they're checking in. They need to be prodded. Hey, remember that thing you considered? Remember that thing that you wanted to do? And then boom, they buy. Okay, let's do a third thing. And then maybe we can jump into the software.
Well, I'm going to pick you up on the last thing you were mentioning. because actually it might even happen that you're not in contact with them anymore, and for over a year, and then you suddenly see that they visit your website. So based with SalesFlare, you can actually do that. So that it's an account, he's somewhere in the sales process. You think the contact is lost, but after a while it pops up because he visits your website, or he opens an email again.
Oh, got it. So if I didn't know this, if they open an email that I sent out 2 months ago, you'll pop them up for me and say, hey, Andrew, this person is interested. Got it. Ooh, you know what? Tom just said, wow, yeah, that actually is one of those. Yeah, that is one of those things that gets you. Scott says, savage. Yeah, you know, Wistia's founder did this for me. He was brand new with the software, and he said, hey, do you want to partner up, Andrew? We've got this new software that you can post video on your site. And I wasn't sure. And I don't know. I didn't know if I should try new software for video when YouTube existed. Then I started playing with the software, and like that, I got a call from him. And I thought, hey, that's kind of interesting. Let's get on a call. I didn't realize he had software to tell him that I was interested. I get on a call with him, and I said, funny you should call. I have been looking at your software. My concern is that YouTube is the popular platform already. And then he started telling me all the features that this had that YouTube didn't, like statistics about who's opening, specifically who's watching the videos, to what point they're watching the videos. Do they even care? I could actually ask for email addresses within the video or other contact information within the video. I could do things like, he gave me a whole list, and I go, you know what? Yeah, let's partner up. And then he became a longtime supporter. We've been like 5-6 years, no, closer to 10 now together, because he was able to do that. Because when I was interested, he called me, and that's when I want the person to show up. Okay, all right. Stefan is saying, show us the software in action. Just do it. All right. I'm not here to give into the mob every time, but Stefan, you're right. Let's get into it. All right. Can you see if you can share your screen?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a sec. Scott saying patience is a virtue. I do keep wanting to hear you guys do this. Oh, look at this. Scott says, I think I'm going to kiss my mate for pointing me here. Thank you. Do it. Again, if you have anyone in your following on Twitter, on Facebook, on any platform, and you want to bring them in here, they're going to learn how to sell, and they're going to thank you forever. Selling is one of these superpowers that I remember Mark Cuban in an Inc. article was asked, if you lost it all, how could you get it back again? I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but he said, look, if I lost it all, the way I'd get it back again is by learning how to sell. That's the way you do it. And if I could sell, I could build up my fortune. I think that if you have the ability to sell, to persuade people to take action that you know is good for them, that they can make a decision if it's good for them, they could say yes to, you have a superpower that in the biggest and worst recession will give you the power to rebuild yourself. And biggest and worst mental depression, you have the power to bring yourself up. It is a process. I went to school at NYU to study business, and people who heard I was studying business said, nah, you either have business skills or you don't. You either have sales skills or you don't. And I thought, what a failure. I don't even have these sales skills that they're talking about. I'm shy. I'm quiet. I'm introverted. And then I discovered by learning from school, but also from books, and then from taking a great internship with Dale Carnegie, that, you know what? Selling is a process. It's a process that can be tough for some people to master, but if you master it, it's like mastering. My kid just learned how to ride a bike at 5 years old. Yeah, he fell off a bunch of times, but if you can master that, you got it for life. I mastered sales, and well, maybe there's no like perfect mastery, but if you get better and better at it, you feel a sense of mastery, and it sets me up for life. All right, so tell your friends, go to botacademy.com/live, and if you do it, please tell me that you've done it, invited them here so that I can thank you for it. All right, cool. We do see your screen. I was giving it some time to make sure everyone else saw it, and let's get into it.
Yeah, so at the end of the demo, we will give you a quick link to the sign-up page. But if you would lose it somehow, just go to salesflare.com and you can click try it for free, and you will immediately go to the sign-up page. So I'm gonna show the demo in two separate parts. The first part is I want to guide you through how it looks when you first sign up. Okay. There is an onboarding, and I'll guide you through that. And I'm going to turn over into an account that has quite some data in there, so I can show you some more interesting stuff, because otherwise it would take a while creating some accounts. But yeah. But I think it's already also interesting to quickly go through the onboarding part. So signing up with SalesFlare. So at the core of SalesFlare is all your email data. So typically you mail with your customers quite a lot, but as Andrew mentions, chatting with them is coming up more and more as well. So you're actually actively looking and integrating chat into the system as well.
Yep. And by the way, don't be turned off by the fact don't be turned off by the fact that I say that people are shifting over to text from email. I do believe that there's a place for email. Email is not dead, and I do especially think business to business communication where it's one-on-one until you get to that intimacy level still happens via email. So don't be turned off by it. As soon as we created Bot Academy, I said on our mission page, say email is not dead. I do not want people to think that it is dead. All right, but go ahead. Let's take a look here. Walk us through this process.
I'm gonna have to.
Do you need to reshare your screen so we can see more?
Let's go. Wait a second.
And Siddharth, I think you're asking, can you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Give me a sec.
Sure.
See the Okay.
So Siddharth, you're asking, can you access emails of your potential customers? Do you mean, can you find the email addresses of potential customers? And Lieven, let me ask you that. Does SalesFlare allow us to see the email addresses of will you find the email addresses for us?
No.
Okay, no problem. I can give you guys a spreadsheet that we use for it, and I can give you a set of tools that will help you find email addresses.
We actually
Does anyone else want that?
Yeah.
Okay, Scott saying yes, please. All right, let me look for it. There are a couple of tools that we have found that work really well for it. One of them is Hunter.io and Headreach. Here, check them out. And I can also, there we go. Thanks, Hunter.io. Taubrey just beat me to it. And Headreach, I forget which one we have a membership for as a company in Headreach.io. Oh, good. And Vito just turned me on to a new tool called ssnav.io for finding email addresses. So if you need to find the email address of someone you're working with, there are lots of tools that will allow you to do that. Okay, let me know if you're ready to go, Lieven.
Ready.
Okay, go for it. Good. We got to talk about a tool that was helpful for everyone while you
did that. Well, we actually know a lot of those tools as well. So yeah, it's good that you mentioned them. So quickly, the first thing that is shown is like the three main features or powerful features SalesFlare has. So like I mentioned already, it does the data input for you. You can be in control because it's easier to follow up your opportunities and to follow up on the right time. And it has also insights about the sales. It's pretty easy. You will see it in the demo. It's like a dashboard, so you don't have to go through a lot of charts. It tries to give you all of them in one, well, actually two simple dashboards, one about revenue and one about the team and your users. So welcome, Sales will help you sell more with less work. Take it for a spin. It's going to lead you quickly through the application. So on the left-hand side, you see the menu. It's split up in a couple of parts. It's tasks, accounts, contacts, opportunities, campaigns, and insights. An account, first of all, is a company you're trying to sell to. Why is it not just called company? Because it could actually happen that you're selling to several departments, and then typically you're gonna create several departments for the company in SalesFlare, and then you will have several accounts. On the right-hand side here, you see the account, well, the company SalesFlare. Automatically, we pull in the logo, we pull in several social profiles, and we even pull in account information like the amount of people that work there, the phone number.
You're saying this is for every potential customer that we list there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Rob who's listening to us live. If Rob decides, hey, you know what? The company that I really want to sell this to is appsumo.com. If he creates an account for appsumo.com, you'll automatically get the logo, and you'll also automatically tell him there are 8 people there.
Let's do this after the walkthrough, and I'll create appsumo.com live for you.
Okay, let's do it.
Then SalesFlare suggests contacts automatically. So based on your emails, it suggests you who you've been in contact with in the company.
Because it's reading your inbox, and if you type in SalesFlare, it'll go into my inbox and say, hey, you happened to talk to Lieven a few weeks ago or years ago, whatever. We're going to suggest a contact. Oh, got it. That's great. That's great. Okay.
So just click the check mark. Now, every automatic aspect you see, of course, it's still possible to do things manually. So you can create contacts manually, you can create accounts manually, but we do as much automatically as possible. So on the left-hand side, well, in the middle here, you see the account timeline. So because you have been emailing with people at SalesFlare, you will see all the interactions here. Now, not only emails, you will also, if you connect your calendar, you will also see meetings.
Wow.
If you have an Android phone, it needs to be Android because Apple or iPhone doesn't allow it. But if you have an Android phone and you call someone on your phone and the SalesFlare app is installed, it will automatically sync those phone calls with this account as well. And you will see website visits, and you can take notes.
Yep. By the way, for anyone who's not using SalesFlare, if you walk away from here saying, you know what, I just don't want this software, I want to use a spreadsheet because that's what I'm comfortable with, whatever it is, you should still do this. Before you contact somebody, go into your inbox and see if you've contacted anyone at their company. Or even if you don't think that you did, one of the things that I had happen to me was I wanted to use this new transcription service. And I thought, well, I don't know anyone at the company. I've got to ask a question. And then I realized, wait, they reached out to me years ago when they were starting up, and the founder wanted to get my input on the software. And at the time I did give him input. Why do I have to start cold by reaching out to them? Why not just go back to the founder and ask him? And because I thought to go into my inbox before reaching out to him, I have an easier way now to connect with the company. You may never have reached out to your potential clients, but there's a chance they reached out to you. We're going to do AppSumo in a little bit. Noah Kagan might have sent you a message a while back asking you to join his bike ride or telling you about whatever it is. You know how he is, Noah, or telling you about a taco thing in Austin, right? You may not have ever even paid attention to that email, but it's sitting in your inbox, even if you didn't respond to it. And why not start with that? Why not at least have that in the back of your head? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so.
Oh, wait, Iqbal is saying, can you please explain more about the Android part? What you're saying with Android is Android will let your software do what?
So if you have an Android phone, Android allows you to check out the people you have been in contact with. So based on that call log, we can we create a phone call in SalesFlare, so you know that you called someone.
Got it. Because you have access to the call logs.
Yeah,
makes sense. Okay, good. Nathan is saying, I love the website visits. Can I measure engagement specifically for my contacts? So can I measure engagement specifically for my contacts? You mean what, Nathan? Let me know. Give me more details on that. Sorry to interrupt. Lieven, let's keep going.
No problem. So I'm going to create the first opportunity. So an opportunity is just, if you see a chance to sell something, but it doesn't even need to be selling, you can create several pipelines. It could be, I want to get into the press with an article, or it could be, I'm trying to find an investor, so I want to close an investment deal. Or it could even be, I want to, like, we have a founder coffee podcast, and we also manage the sales process, between brackets, of people who want to come on founder coffee on the podcast.
Let me emphasize this too. When we talk about sales, there's a natural inclination for people to think this is only when I want to offer somebody something and have them give me money. That's not the only time that you need this persuasion process, that you need, quote, sales, right? Persuading people, as Lieven said, to be on your podcast is a sales process. And we'll get to the word process in a moment. Getting them to buy from you is a sales process. What was the other example that you gave? I thought it was a good one too.
The press.
Right. Getting press is the sales process. Why do I keep emphasizing the word process? Because new salespeople think it's just putting out an offer and someone's going to buy. And if you put out enough offers, people are going to buy. If you don't put out enough offers or you don't do it right, then you failed. Experienced salespeople know there is a process. Step number 1 might be finding out who you're going to reach out to. Step number 2, finding their contact information. Step number 3, it might be doing a little research, or maybe step number 3, sending out a first message. And they know that it takes a few messages, a few steps that are organized to lead to a closing of a sale, or getting somebody to be on your podcast, or getting someone to give you press. It's a set of steps. And those steps change over time as you see, well, this step was stupid. Why did I even add it? Or this step is really working. Let's move it earlier in the process. The process is what makes you a better salesperson, not charm, not charisma. Yeah, those help absolutely. But a process will allow your company and you to become a better salesperson. And so what he's saying is you have a new contact, you decide which sales process or pipeline, to use his phrase, which sales pipeline do you put them on? Great. April saying, I'd really like to see all this, what all this can do. Okay, then Andrew will shut up. But here, you can see the process right there on your screen.
Here, indeed. So if you go to the opportunities, that is a nice visual of the sales process. And it's very easy to manage your opportunities within this pipeline, because it's as easy as dragging and dropping opportunities. We have a default pipeline here. I will go a bit more into detail about the different sales processes and the pipelines in the next part of the demo. But we have a default pipeline here that says lead contacted, qualified, proposal made, won, and lost. You can easily drag opportunities to another stage. And this is just the onboarding, congratulating on us on winning the first opportunity. Now, the more so after the onboarding process, the get equipped dialog will be shown. The more things you connect, the more interesting SalesFlare gets. So if you connect your calendar, you will see meetings appearing in your tasks and in your also in your accounts in the timeline. If you have a Gmail or Outlook, we have a sidebar that's actually working next to your emails. So when you open an email, automatically the related account will be shown, and you can see the full history of everything that has been communicated, or you can see the information about the account right next to your email all the time. You can see the opportunities you have. That's also really interesting to install. And then, of course, the mobile app. And important there is the mobile app we have has full functionality. So anything you can do on the desktop application, you can do on the mobile app. And that has been a choice from the start. So anything you can imagine can be done from the mobile application as well.
All right, and step by step, what you've laid out here is step number 1, you have a lead, you add the lead, the potential customer, to that red column. Step number 2 is you contact them, you say something. Step number 3 is you want to make sure that they're qualified, that they can actually afford to pay for you, that they're interested, that they're a good fit. Then the next step after that is proposal made. In this case, you send out a proposal. You say, would you be interested in buying from us? And then finally, when they say yes, you move their card to that one column. And that's when the fireworks comes on, which is pretty cool. And then I think it's also important there are 2 things I want to point out here. I told you guys I can only shut up for a couple of minutes. I'm not over caffeinated today. I'm naturally caffeinated. And I promise you, this coffee is decaf. This is just my natural state of being. There, it's almost done too. Those steps you will change to fit your business, and you'll never stop changing it. Your first process is going to be so dopey that you're going to go look back on it a year, 2 years from now, even a month from now, go, why did I do that? Of course people didn't buy. It was not good. You have to keep improving it. And the final thing that I want to say before I hand it back over to Lieven is that loss column I found is really helpful. I want to know why I lost people, so that I'm not dealing with my own insecurities. I'm not dealing with my own thoughts about it, but I want to understand as much as possible about who I lost and why, so that I can go back and analyze it. For the interviews that I do on Mixergy, we used to think that people would say no because they were a little afraid of me with my biting personality. That's what some of the people on the team said. They said a lot of people don't want to do interviews with you because they're a little afraid. Turns out that's not what it was. It turns out some people started asking about the numbers, like how big, not my numbers, like how big is my audience on my podcast, but how big does our business have to be? We didn't think we fit. And so they just ignored us. And the more we discovered that, the more we realized, well, we should be clear and say the threshold is not as dangerously high as you imagine. And then we started to get more people to say yes to being on our podcast. So the more you know why people say no, the more you could adjust in the future and bring other people to a close faster. And frankly, even go back and change the people who said no. So you want to learn from them. You want to learn from them.
Okay, that's actually great, because a bit further in the demo, we will also go to the insights, and we will actually see those lost reasons you were mentioning in a nice chart. So this is actually the first part of the demo, but as mentioned, I was going to create the AppSumo account.
Okay, so we're pretending that AppSumo can use the service from one of the people who's listening to us, maybe from DG or Jamie or George or Tabri, right? Okay, so how would we do it? Okay.
So it's just creating a new account. Now, everything you create, you can create from the bottom right here. You can create tasks, you can create accounts, contacts, opportunities, and campaigns. Now we're going to create the AppSumo account.
Okay.
Now you immediately see that we will actually, while you're typing, we're already showing you all the companies that you could be selling to, and then it also shows you the icons and already the website. So actually AppSumo is in there, no problem. You click it, it automatically finds the website for you. You click create, and then it's gonna find you even more information. So it gives you the social profiles immediately. It gives you the address, even a standard email address, some tags.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that's Noah's house, his apartment. Okay.
Yeah, could be, yeah. But absolutely, it's not the biggest company, yeah.
It's not, but because I think what you're doing is you're grabbing the address from the who is information.
Yeah, we find public information online and we use that information to so probably that address is somewhere on the website, maybe.
Okay, can somebody look for Noah Kagan using any of the tools that we had before? So we know, actually, if you click on LinkedIn, can you see who the founder is? If I go into LinkedIn, you have a LinkedIn link there, yeah, at the top.
But I'm not sharing my.
Oh, you're not sharing everything. Okay, why don't you click it, even if you describe to us what you see? Let's take a look. Click it. Can you, from LinkedIn, know that it's Noah Kagan? And can somebody go to the tools that we mentioned earlier for finding email addresses and just find Noah Kagan's email address?
It is Noah Kagan.
It is. Okay, so LinkedIn tells you who the founder is. Great. So it's Noah Kagan. And somebody use headreach.io or any of the other tools that you like. And if you can't find it, let me know and I'll find it. And we're going to find the email address of the founder. Kim just joined us. And for anyone else who just joined us late, here's what we're doing. We're learning how to sell, and specifically how to sell using this tool called SalesFlare. We're going to go through it step by step. And then you're going to get this tool later so that you can use it to close your sales. And if you like it, you can just keep subscribing and keep going with it. If you don't like it, you've at least learned something that you can use. Oh, look at this. He found 9 email addresses for Noah Kagan. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So one is chiefsumo@appsumo.com. Interesting. Okay. Wow. I wonder why hkagan.com is in there. All right. So chiefsumo@appsumo.com. Jamie, thanks for finding that. At appsumo.com is, I think, one of the email addresses. Tell me if I'm wrong. Or maybe that's a title. Wow, he owns mymint.com. That's interesting. All right, so we get the email address, and now let's just put in a fake email address so we're not jamming in his email address. Can you pretend that there's an email address in there that we're going to use? Okay, good. It's chiefsumo@appsumo. Rob's saying the same thing. So can you add that Lieven in, and let's see what happens now once we get that contact information. And let's put in his name, Noah Kagan. Kagan I could spell for you if you need.
chiefsumo@appsumo.com, right?
Yep. Yep. Great. Okay, so now we've got them. Let's see what the sales process is for dealing with this new person. So we have this new person. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Add that opportunity. I don't know who that is, but let's keep it. What does it mean that there's an opportunity? It looks like you found Oma on there.
So the first time you add a contact to a company or to an account, it asks you to create an opportunity for you. So
okay. It automatically is saying, what are we going to do with this person? Let's not just add them in here for show. What are we doing? Got it. Okay. So what are you going to do as an opportunity?
I don't know.
You just name it as an opportunity.
Maybe they need a website update.
No. We're going to sell them on chatbots. Let's just say sell them on chat. Or sell them on chat. Sure. Great. So we're going to sell them on a chat service. Now what happens? How do we put them into that pipeline that you showed us earlier, so that we can start making that first?
That already happened because I added opportunities.
So it automatically goes in there. Okay, great. It automatically goes in there, and now we can take a look. You want to go over to that opportunities, and we can see them on the chart. Great. So now we have him as a lead here. I don't like this process. Let's add another step or edit it. Show me how I can edit it. Let's think about what we want to change. First one is contact. Let's get rid of the word qualified. We're assuming that he's qualified. First, we're going to contact them, and then we're going to offer to do a demo. So what did you do to come in here to change it? Show me how you changed it.
So there's two ways. You can just go to the settings, and there in the list, there will be configured pipelines. Or you can also just on that dotted menu here on the right-hand side.
The three dots, yep.
Yeah, you can click configure pipelines.
Let's do that.
And you go to the same settings configure pipelines menu.
Okay, great. So now we're in here. So let's suppose that we like contacted. We want to change qualified. We don't want it to be called qualified. We want it to be called offer demo.
Offer a demo, okay.
Yep. Update. And then after we offer to do a demo, let's say instead of proposal made, we're going to do a demo as the next step. And I just realized something. A lot of people are not going to say yes to our offer to do a demo. I forgot another step, which is offer a demo again. So if they don't buy the demo, if they don't say, yes, I do want this free demo, we're going to offer to do it again. Okay. And probability of them saying yes is what we're talking about here, right? If they make it to this column, well, what is it probability?
Probability is actually the probability that this opportunity is going to the one stage. So if you will win the deal, actually. So depending on, if your end goal is to give them a demo in this process, then it could be that one means, the demo has been done. If it means you're actually going to sell something, then the probability here means that you actually sell it, and the chance of selling it in this stage is 20%.
Okay. So if I'm offering them again to do the demo, there's a chance that they might say, yes, I want to buy it right now. Don't even do the demo. I'm ready to buy. So you know what? Let's change that probability to 10%. Yeah. Okay, great. And we've got a nice green color there.
I could actually, so there's a days until inactivity task. So that's actually the automation process I was mentioning before. So if you set on a stage days until inactivity task, you can select a couple of things. The team default is something that is set somewhere else in the settings. I can show you later. But custom, you can say, okay, let's if it takes 10 days before the response, remind me that I need to contact them again.
Got it. Right. I'm offering to do a demo. I want to just forget it, put it out of my mind. And if 10 days later, okay, let's hit create. And we want to move that to the right spot. How do you move it? Just drag and drop it. Great. Okay, great. Yeah, we're offering, let's put it above above the demo. So if they don't respond to us for the demo, got it. Let's move that up there. We're offering to do a demo, step number 3. If for some reason they don't respond, we're going to come back and say, hey, this demo that I offered to do for you, it's completely free. You can use it. Got it. We've been getting a few questions here about Zapier and a few people who are asking about Zapier integration. I'm curious, guys, if you are interested in Zapier, what is it that you want to do with Zapier? And Maz, Ben, let me know what's the Zapier integration that you want. And Lieven, can you tell us a little bit about the Zapier integration?
Of course. So first of all, we have a Zapier integration. We're actually releasing a Zapier upgrade next month, early next month. So what you can do now, and then it's as easy as going to Zapier actually, but if you just go to the website, you can find our app and you can see everything you can do with it. But you can use triggers like when an opportunity, so depending on what you want to do you want to create something in SalesFlare, then you can create opportunities, you can create accounts, you can create contacts, you can create tasks, or you can even create meetings and phone calls in your accounts.
Automatically, the Zapier connection will automatically create meetings, or you? What do you mean?
So if you set up a Zapier and someone goes to your website and fills out a form, for example, then you could use Zapier to say, okay, when someone fills out this form, I want to automatically create a new account and a new opportunity in SalesFlare. That's
got it. Somebody fills out, if anyone fills out a form on my site or using Typeform or whatever, automatically add them into SalesFlare so that we know we're going to start closing them. Yeah. Got it. And I can see myself doing that. Yeah.
We're actually adding more and more native integrations ourselves. So apps that directly integrate with SalesFlare or the other way around. But yeah, you can, of course, almost impossible to support all the SaaS software that is out there. But if you use Zapier, you can do whatever you imagine.
Yeah. A natural one for us is
IP, or you can. What people use it also for is like have a contact, automatically sync contacts with your MailChimp lists.
Yeah.
Whatever. We also use it for example, if someone we use Intercom for support. If someone talks to us on Intercom, we immediately synchronize the messages in Intercom with our accounts in SalesFlare. So whatever you can imagine, you can do.
Okay. By the way, Maz is asking me for a little bit more clarity for him and Ben. Is that included in the price?
That is included in the price.
Okay. And in the trial period that we're giving everybody, is that included in there too?
Yeah.
It is. So they could use it. Got it. I know that for ManyChat, that type of integration is not included until you go pro, and a lot of people charge more if you want that. By the way, guys, my eyes are going all over the place because I got a computer right there where I'm watching to make sure your experience is good. I've got a computer right here where I'm watching to see like what's going on, what data do we need to bring in. Chat is on this side. Down here, unfortunately, is Lieven's video. So whenever I look down, I'm actually looking at Lieven. And I'm constantly aware of everything you guys are saying because I want to make sure that you're getting everything out of this. So if you haven't chatted with me, if you haven't told me what you're looking for, you're really missing out. I'm working really hard for the people who are chatting, and unfortunately less so for the people who are not helping me to be there for them. So keep chatting. Let me know what you're looking for. And Ben is someone who asked the same question that Jamie's been wrestling with, which is, I signed up using Gmail. Wait, what happens for people who sign up for sales for SalesFlare using Gmail, and then they end up wanting to use their business account, their business email to reach people? Is that a problem?
No. You can connect several email addresses in the same account. So just go to your email settings and you add additional email addresses there. Can be Gmail, can be Office 365, can be any other email provider even. So you can add as many email addresses as you want.
Okay, good. So they could just keep connecting and sending out from different email. Kim is asking, I'm not sure if this question's been asked, but how does SalesFlare compare with ActiveCampaign? So it's actually two different types of email, two different types of software. ActiveCampaign does do some of this like column stuff, but ActiveCampaign, from what I understand, is made for sales to broader people all at once. It's a one-to-many. This is more of a one-to-one experience. When you're trying to close sales individually with people, you need a process to organize it. You need a process to simplify it, because if your job is to send a personal message to everyone who's a potential customer, it's going to take forever to go and do research like how big is the company, what's what have I said with them before, and so on and so forth. So it's more of a one-to-one. Tell me if I missed anything, Lieven.
Yeah, SalesFlare is really focused on being a B2B CRM. So it's business to business, and it's typically indeed one-to-one conversations you're having with people. Yeah.
So then we're asked about a few other software that I could start listing all the competitors who do something like this. The truth is that the column part is being done by a lot of people, like HubSpot, for example, is now adding this stuff. The rest of it, though, is really hard to do. And that's one of the things that I wanted to learn here today. The search in your inbox to see when you've communicated with someone before. Search in your team's inbox to see if anyone's done it. Not just in your individual team member's inbox, but your support inbox to see if the prospect has contacted you at some point before. The ability to automate the reminder to say, hey, you forgot to follow up with this person. It's getting cold. That is something that a lot of other software doesn't use. So is there software to do columns? Someone just brought up Trello, for example. Absolutely. I'm actually even going to say, yes, Trello has columns. I'm even going to say that spreadsheets. If you set up columns in spreadsheets, you can basically duplicate this whole process. I'm not saying that that doesn't work. I'm just saying at some point you want more firepower behind it. You don't want to spend your time looking for basic information, like go into your inbox to see if you've reached the person. You want the software to go do that for you, because your part is to be the human being, to recognize that you sent something to Noah 5 years ago. And how do you reconnect with that? It might be, hey, Noah, I remember 5 years ago contacting you, and I see how big your business has grown over the years. And I should tell you that there's this other new thing. Or Noah, 5 years ago, your blog post about how to use whatever Mint helped me out, and now I want to help you out. That is where the human being is unmatched. And so, yes, there's software that does a lot of this stuff. Again, going back to spreadsheets. But when you want a little bit more automation, a little more intelligence, this is where it comes in. Oh, look at this. You're actually going into your personal account.
This is not my personal account. This is a demo account with a bit more data in there.
Okay.
So, well, you will see, for example, the timeline again. You can also see your tasks. So every task you create to follow up people at PayPal, you can see. So it's very easy. It's like a more popular task management systems, but the good thing here is that it's immediately integrated with your CRM, so you can immediately see the related accounts based on the task. What it also does automatically for you is every file that you through email that you send or that they send to you is automatically shown here in the Files tab on your account. And you can also add your own files if you want. But every file you email is automatically shown here. And then an additional thing is the social. So because all the data is automatically pulled in.
But you will automatically show me the blog post that the person has written?
Because it shows you the Twitter account of the company. And because we automatically find the Twitter account for you, we can show you the whole social feed. And it's an interesting thing to sometimes quickly check and see if something recently happened within the company. You can use that as a conversation.
Let me bring this up for everyone who's doing this, whether you decide to use a software or not, no software or yes, doesn't matter. If you can add a little bit of personal touch, people will know that it's not automated. There's tons of tools right now for sending out automated messages in bulk. I get them all the time in my inbox because I run a popular business podcast called Mixergy. I get them all the time. And it's so easy to hit the spam on them, or to just ignore them and archive them until somebody says something personal. Now, it's hard, since I have a podcast, for somebody to listen to an hour-long podcast just to have a personal thing to say to me, especially if they're trying to get their business featured on multiple podcasts. You can't go into an hour. But if they could just look at my Twitter feed and see that I've been talking about running, because it's one of my passions, and my goal this year is to run 7 marathons on 7 continents in 1 year. If they could just touch in that, say, Andrew, I've been following along with your marathon goal. Good luck with it. By the way, I like your podcast, or I see your podcast reaches our audience. I think our founder would be a good fit. It changes the game completely. They've touched on something that I care about, but they've also just said, hey, I'm human. And by being human, they get a more human interaction from me instead of the shift exclamation point to auto mark them as spam. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, right? Scott's saying you could attract more bees with honey. Absolutely. Just show for a second that you're a human being and people are more likely to take it seriously. That's what we're talking about. So this is a cheat. Absolutely. Will I be upset if somebody did this? No, because it shows they took a moment. And someone who's taking a moment is not firing off a bunch of messages. Someone who took a moment deserves a little bit more attention. Cool. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, getting back to the account timeline. So I already explained that the account timeline shows you all the emails, phone calls, and so on. But maybe it's a bit important to explain to you how this actually works. Yep. So what it's going to show here in the timeline is in this team, there's Kerry and there's Hans, and in the contacts in this account, there's Evan and there's, well, it's again Kerry, but it's because it's another account. But if Hans sends an email to Evan, it will show up here. If Kerry calls Evan, it will show up here. If they both have a meeting with one of the people in the account, it will show up here. If Kerry sends an email to Evan and he looks at the email, it will be shown that the email was opened by that person. If the person clicks a link in an email, if he afterwards goes to your website, it will all be shown here in the account timeline without you even doing anything.
I had no idea. I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah.
That's really good, especially for new salespeople. The message you send out sometimes doesn't get the response you're looking for because people don't open it. And if you see consistently as you go through the people who you've contacted, they're not opening, not opening, not opening. You know what? You've got a bad subject line. It's not your offer. They're not even considering your offer. You've got a bad subject line. If they're opening it and they're not responding back to you, you've got bad content. Change it. If they're opening it and checking out your website and not contacting you, your website is horrible and you should improve it by just getting a simple theme to improve it. So you get these indicators that tell you whether someone is giving you what they're looking for or not. And these indicators are what we get as salespeople if we're talking in the real world. Online, we need that. I insist as a podcaster when I do interviews that the guests turn on their webcam. And the reason I do it is not because people want to see two people talking on a screen. It's not for the audience, it's for me. So when I ask a personal question, I can see in the person's eyes, you know what, this is too far, Andrew, or I love it. So Rand Fishkin, I remember the founder of Moz.com, I asked him, did you regret? You told me that you didn't have kids because that not having kids helped you get further in business. Now that business didn't do as well as you wanted it to, and you didn't get the exit you wanted, did you regret not having kids? Seeing his eyes told me he was happy that I was getting personal like that, right? You can't tell that if you're blind to that data. Same thing here. You can't tell whether people are responding positively or negatively to your email until you start getting this type of data. It is absolutely priceless. Again, if you decide, you know what, I don't want to use this software at all, fine. I'm not here to sell you on any piece of software. I don't think Lieven wants you to use this software if you're not happy with it. But I will tell you this, go and do this. Otherwise, you're going to think it's your fault, your problem, without understanding, no, it's the problem of your subject line, the problem of your website, etc. Great.
Now, not only the web, it will show you the website, but not only the website visit, it will show you the actual page. So what we saw is typically when people on our website went to the pricing page, well, there's a big chance they will actually convert. So you can even see it on the page detail, and you can see the time that they take on your website and on your website pages. So based on that information, as a salesperson, you can actually know how much they are interested in your product or services.
Yeah. Now, a few people are asking, what about other people on our team? Now, everyone's saying, what about other salespeople? I want to also have you talk about other salespeople and other admin staff. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that. How does this work with other salespeople on the team and then other team members in general?
Yeah. So if you want them to be part of the account, so if they're like, they need to follow up on the account, or they also want to have an overview of what is happening on the account, you can just add them to the account here, add them to the team, just click manage and pick another user and add them to the team. Now, actually, if they are not added on the account, they don't see all the information that is shown here in the timeline. But we started off SalesFlare as a quite a transparent CRM. So we don't currently. It's on the roadmap to have a more several roles of administration. But currently, you can choose. Okay, is this person actually part of the account, and can he see all the interactions that are happening with the account, or is he not part of the account or not part of the team? And can he also he can only see that as a company you're actually trying to sell to that account, but he cannot see all the information, all the details within the account.
Got it. Can I create a
sale? If I send an email and someone else is part of the account, he can also see that someone opened the email, or he can even see what I discussed with the company.
So it's a lot of power to give to somebody. By the way, can you tilt your camera up? We're seeing just your mouth.
Sorry.
Speaking of seeing people's eyes to get a sense of where we are.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the webinar page because I'm focusing on the demo here.
Yeah, I wish we could pop out the video so you can see it.
Yeah.
Now, I can make a team that is specific to a pipeline, right? And that team, every member would be able to see every interaction in the pipeline, or do I have to do it for each individual potential customer?
Meaning adding them to an account?
Yeah, like let's suppose that I have someone on my team who is my assistant. I want her to be able to see everything that has to do with every single potential customer of my agency.
Yeah, it's actually in the team settings. So as I mentioned, it's on the roadmap to have a more granular security built in. But what you can do is you can automatically add all users to all accounts. So from the moment you create an account, automatically the other people are added to the account so they can follow what's been discussed.
Now, Scott's been asking a question a few times, and Ben, I see your question too. I'll get to that. Scott's been asking, can I keep people on my team from talking to each other? Now, I don't know Scott's situation, but I do know sometimes people work with outside consultants, virtual assistants, contractors, and what they want is to just get the people to do the job and not talk with each other at all. Do you have a way for that to happen? Like, can they even talk to each other within the app at all?
They can, yeah, they can.
Okay, how do they talk to each other?
You just go to the timeline, and then this is type an internal note. You can mention team members if you want. So I can say
at Andrea, don't offer this guy anything. At Andrea, I should be the only person. Or at Andrea, can you please ping him and say, Andrew really loves you, by the way. Can you consider responding? That type of thing, right? Okay, but there's no way to turn that off, Scott. So I'm wondering why you want to turn it off, but it looks like no, they will be able to communicate. If if you're worried about what they'll say to each other, you should know you as the admin here will see the whole thing within each record. Sup, Johnny? Good to see you here. All right, I promised Ben that I would get back to his question. Can somebody confirm? Do you add a phone number during the setup process? Ben, why are you worried about that? And Lieven, do we need to add a phone number or not?
No.
You don't have to add a phone number. Okay, great.
No, and Google is very strict in the companies that get access to your caller. So all our phone numbers in the system are, they're encoded. So when you have a call with someone, we don't actually even, it will link the call in your account timeline, but we don't even know the actual phone number. So everything is encoded. So everything is safe. And that we went to a whole process with Google to be allowed to actually access the caller. That's something that is we've gone through recently. So yeah, everything is fine. There's actually a lot of apps that didn't get access there. So yeah.
Kim saying, can you restate what was said about giving a virtual assistant access to my account in SalesFlare? What you would do, Kim, is give your assistant access to their own account. Like they'd be a team member right here, like Lieven is showing you on the screen. And what you're trying to do then is have what I think is helpful with an assistant is there's some contact that the assistant can jump in on faster. If a person's asking a question, if you need to follow up with the person because they haven't responded, sometimes it just helps to have two different people come in, just so that they see it's an organization, not a one person thing. And sometimes that gives you a sense of, gives a client a sense of confidence. And so if I sent the offer to do a demo, but my virtual assistant sends a message saying, hey, I noticed you didn't respond to Andrew. I want you to know he's sincere about giving you a free demo because Andrew is a big fan of AppSumo. If you just click his calendar link, you could pick whatever time that works for you. Having that come from my assistant instead of from me, yes, it frees me up, but it could be a nice little touch that gets that person who wasn't interested to say, yeah, I'll go over to the other side and take a shot on Andrew. So absolutely. Kim saying, do you need to pay to have an account for each person? That's a good question. Lieven, do we need to pay to have an account for each person?
That is currently the case. Looking a bit into pricing and see if we can, so as I said on the roadmap is the different roles and more granular security, and part of that functionality will also be looking into the pricing around people who can only view stuff, for example. So that will be, but currently it's one-off pricing for every member on your team. Yeah.
Yep, we're talking about $30 to get each person on there. I'm looking at your site. We're not looking at a really expensive proposition for them. If they're not adding help to you at that price point, then fine. But that's really, really low. By the way, Lieven, I'm going to give you some feedback here that you did not ask for, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think when people ask for stuff, I don't think you should tell them what's on the roadmap. I think it's helpful to say, it's $30. It's an extra membership. It doesn't cost that much. And we believe that it's going to add value for you. If it doesn't add value for you, you can cancel that person. But having an assistant come in and close even one sale is more than enough to cover the cost of that. I think you should take the Steve Jobs approach of saying what we have here is more than enough. And we're not going to sell the future instead of telling you what's here. Nathan's agreeing, especially since your product is so detailed. I had no idea how far you guys had come with this software. And I've known you for a long time.
But I didn't even start yet.
I know that's a hard part. I'm the same way. It's like, I know how much more we want to do. I want to keep telling you, this is where we're going. This is where we're going. But I feel like that keeps people from appreciating. It's like, I don't mean to put my wife down, but I'm going to talk openly about everything here. When we had brunch, my wife for a long time would say, well, this didn't come out the way I wanted it for the dinner. Or I know I wanted to do this other thing for the brunch. And I say, people don't care that you were going to prepare 2 other things for brunch. They're just really happy here. Don't tell them this is less than what they want. Just really let them enjoy it. And she hasn't been talking lately about what she wanted to do and the kids kept us from being able to make. And it's great because she does make a great brunch. I was going to say with me, but I'm not helping out lately at all with brunch with the kids. All right. SalesFlare really has come a long way. How long have you guys been in business?
Well, actually, we started 5 years ago, but I think about 4.5 years ago, we actually released our first version of the software. So it took us quite a while to release the first version because there was a lot of automation. But yeah, and it has changed a lot since then. Apart from that, since beginning this year, we made a point for ourselves to release every month 3 new features, and those are 3 new features that are people asking for. So we keep anything you tell to our support team, we keep in a list with priorities, so it's clearly which features are asked the most. And that are the ones that we work on, and we release 3 each month, and that's a promise we give you.
3 new features each month.
Yeah. So we want, and it's based on your feedback. So when you can look at review sites, G2 Crowd, whatever, you will see that our support is something that will come up almost all the time when they give us a review. Because for us it's important that people tell us, that we talk to them, so we know what the customers want, and we actually use that feedback to build out our product further and further. Yeah.
Okay, I see a few people are asking for the URL. If you want to go and use this software for free right now, play around with it, see how it feels, see if this is going to bring order to your sales process, go to botacademy.com/SalesFlare trial, and I've got it in the chat. I should tell you, I get zero $0 if you sign up. I have absolutely no financial stake in you doing this. The reason that we did this was I said, we have this poll. Our list now is really big. How about if we use this to help out our audience so that when I ask for something like feedback on something that I'm doing, people feel a sense of caring coming from me, and they'll care right back and reciprocate. So I said, let's reach out to a few software vendors and bring them on and have them show their software. And yes, our obligation was, or their obligation was, they had to give the software for free. So I'm getting nothing out of this. If you walk away and you're not happy, I'm totally fine with that. I'm actually, what I would love it is for you to come back to Bot Academy and say, hey, Andrew, this did not work for me because this wasn't helpful because here's why I didn't like it. We've had that in the past and it helped me adjust. I've heard nothing but good things about SalesFlare, but I'm not going to be crushed if you give me negative feedback on it. The only reason I'm doing this is to help you to create a warmth and a feeling that you guys see that we do care about you. And since we have a bigger audience now, I've got the leverage to be able to go out to vendors and bring this to you. So what I do want you to do, though, is not just run cowboy style, thinking that you can figure out sales because someone told you years ago that charm is going to lead to sales, or the determination, or if you just keep at it, you will get it. No, you will absolutely fail if you do nothing but hope that sending out an offer and having persistence and charm will get you there. Not to say that that's going to fail in the short term. If you're really charming, if you're really persistent, yeah, you'll get some sales. But one of the things that I found, especially through talking to the founder of SendGrid and then the CEO that he brought in to take them on before they went public and then were acquired for a ton of money, one of the things that the CEO and the founder helped me understand was the founder was really good at charming sales, but he was not good at a systemized process that will allow his company to grow beyond him. And the thing that I love about this is, yes, when you're starting out, this will put structure to your system of sales that will allow you to close more sales. I'm telling you, if you see me shot out of a cannon about this, it's because sales is a superpower that will set you up for life. If you're a good salesman, you will always do well. If you're a good saleswoman, you will never have to worry about a recession crushing you. There will always be something for you to do if you do that. But if you have a process, you can really be a phenomenal salesperson, especially in the beginning, because you know when something's not working, you change your pipe drive. You know when something's not working, it's not you to take personally and feel crushed and hurt. It's for you to sit down and analytically say, what can I change? Oh, you know what? I'm looking at this thing and it's showing me that no one's opening up my email. My subject line is not very good. Let's test something else. And you test something else and you realize it's the subject line's problem, not your problem, which helps you fix it. And then as you bring in new people and they get integrated into the sales process, they can start taking on parts of your process. I used to think I'm the only person who can do things like reach out to my guests on my podcast, the only person who can help close sales. It's not true. You could start off by giving people parts of your process. Maybe the demo offer comes from you because you want the personal touch. But as you get a little bit better, you say, you know what, like Kim's saying, I've got a virtual assistant. You say, hey, virtual assistant, can you take on this next one? I feel bad when someone's not responding to my email. If you see after 5 days they don't respond to my offer to do a free demo, then can you please send a follow-up message saying, hey, I'm Kim's assistant. I saw that you didn't respond. I want you to know she's really sincere. She's not charging for this free demo. She just wants to show you how this works. And then you're more likely to get a little bit further along without you having to do all the work yourself. What I love about SalesFlare is it organizes that process. If you decide you have to use Post-its on a wall and that's your system, I don't think it'll work as well, but God bless you. Go create that system. Don't fly without a process. So here it is. And yes, you don't need to be an engineer to get you do not need to be an engineer to sign up and get connected with everything. What I did not tell you is this. And by the way, go to botacademy.com/SalesFlare trial right now to try it. Here's what I didn't tell you. Lieven is a co-founder of the company. He could have sent anybody in here to say, look, go and show it to them. There's a reason why he's here. These people at this company care because it comes from the top down. He is not saying, screw it. Andrew, here's the software and here's somebody who's on our team to go do it. He created this company. He is here to show it because he's proud of it and because he can show it really well and he wants you to get a good sense of it. And I'm betting that your feedback to him in the chat is not just going through him, but it's sticking and it's going to allow him to create a better product. I don't know a CRM company that cares to this degree. Seriously, that cares to this degree. I think if anything, he cares a little too much. He's telling you, instead of selling on today, he's telling you what he's going to do for you in the future. All right. Thanks.
And this is something I'm going to quickly share in the chat because I actually have a funny example about it. It's a new user on our software, and he did an honest comparison of several CRM systems. And what we also do sometimes as a founder, that we actually jump in support. So regularly, instead of talking to a support person, you will actually talk to a founder in the chat, because we think it's really important to talk to our customers. And that's actually something that happened to someone, and he was like, what just happened? So, and it's, I shared it there, and it's a comparison, and he's also talking a bit about support, and it actually happened that Jeroen, actually my co-founder, was talking to him on the chat, because it's that important to us, what our users want. Let me take it a bit further, because I think a really important thing to show is what I already showed you, is that we automate a lot of data input. Secondly, there is a sales process. We try to remind you to organize and to follow up on people, so you can walk them or pull them through the sales process. But another thing is the advanced filtering. And it might not seem like a lot. There's a lot of CRMs that have like standard filtering in them. So you could say, give me all the people that work at that company. But we go a lot further. You can say, okay, today I want to call quite some people that are in a certain stage, and it's as easy as, okay, so let's see, an opportunity. So we want to choose opportunities that are in the proposal made and in the qualified stage. Add a filter. We want an account that I have been in contact with. So since the beginning of this year, for example. Now, I remind you that it's demo data. So, and because I want to call all day, I want to make sure that the contact has a phone number, of course. And there you go. You have a list of all the contacts that are in a certain stage, have been in contact with you this year, and that have a phone number. And there you go. And you could even do that with Facebook or anyone where you have the Facebook or LinkedIn and a LinkedIn profile for. So it's really crazy the kind of filtering you can do. And then based on this advanced filtering, you can also start sending out campaigns.
Oh, wow. So if I decide anyone who I've contacted 5 times who is in the stage that's just before closing, but I've not reached out, but they've not responded, or we haven't taken action in the last 2 months, I could send a message to them saying, look, I know you haven't responded. It's been a while. I want to get you to try it. I'm offering a free trial right now. You send that email out and they could take a free trial and look at that. Nathan says, I love that feature. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to, oh, look at that.
And it's even going more, it's crazier than that. So the process you're mentioning is actually still a manual process. So you're filtering and then sending out a campaign, but you can actually say, okay, but any contact that matches this filter in the future, automatically send him this email.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So automatically anyone who has got it. Okay, I'm only going to wrap this up, and I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and just hang out here for 4 minutes and do some live Q&A from people, or talk about anything, because I want to go and get more tea before the next session. Somebody, and I'm sorry, I forgot who it was earlier, said, hey, I just joined. I blocked out the whole day. How long is this going to be here today? I'm going to tell you exactly what we are doing. I'm going to sit down in this chair all day until what? Is it like 5:30? I don't even remember. Let me take a look at the time that we're going to end here is basically we're going to be here till 6:30 tonight Pacific time. No, yeah, till 6:30 Pacific time, going through different software like this. Yes, I will get replays for you. If you're here with us today, I will get you a replay of this. What we're going to do is learn about software that can change your agency or business, and then make sure that you have that. In a moment, after I get back from getting my tea, we are going to look at Sendable. If you're into social media and you want to see how social media can help you close more sales and get more people to buy from your agency, if you want to understand it, and frankly, if you're looking at, if you're saying, hey, this isn't for me, if you want to challenge it a little bit and get some pushback from the company that's doing it, we're going to do that in about 3 minutes. I'm going to turn off the recording right now for a couple of minutes. I'd love, Lieven, if you could just respond to 1 or 2 things or show one last thing. I will be back with a fresh cup of tea. Actually, tea and coffee. Let's do 2 cups, and I will be ready to go to the next session. Thank you so much. Do you mind just hanging out here for a couple of minutes while I do that?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, take it away. I will be right back, everyone.
Okay, but if you have any questions already, just drop them here. Yes, Ben, we connect to iCal, no problem. Yeah. So if you have any questions, but I'll show you the insights quickly. Wait a second, Nathan. They are currently, Nathan, they are saved in cookies, but we will save them. We will have saved filters, and then they will be saved on the server, and then you can quickly change the filters. Yeah, so quickly change to the saved filters. Run a connection to Sendinblue email program will actually go through Zapier currently. And if there's enough people asking for a direct native integration, it's something we will definitely look into and probably build. So what I didn't mention yet is we have an integrations website. I'll share it here. So there's probably a lot of people who will be asking about integrations. Like I mentioned, like I mentioned, we have an integration website where all the current integrations are shown, both the native integrations, but also the integrations we have in Zapier and in other software that do integrations like PySync contact integration. So you can find all the integrations over there, and if something isn't there yet, you can quickly ask it on the website as well. Yes, Brett, actually, they are recording the whole session. Let's jump. The thing is, if I'm giving the demo, it's pretty difficult. Let me see if I can manage it. Let me see. It's this one, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I fiddled a bit with my screen so I can show you, and in the meantime also still look at what you guys are asking. So what I didn't explain to you yet is the insights we have. Instead of a lot of other CRMs who actually have a bunch of reports, we decided to create an easy dashboard where everything is shown in one view. So, and we have built 2 dashboards, actually, the revenue dashboard and the team dashboard. So in the revenue dashboard, so typically the revenue dashboard is something that's more discussed on a management level. The team dashboard is something where a sales manager will look at and see if the team is doing well, to give them feedback on how they're doing. So the revenue dashboard at the top left, so there's at the top you see a couple of quick KPIs, you could say, and underneath that you see a couple of different charts. So the total revenue, and this is actually during 2018. So you can quickly change it here. So you can look at quarter level, monthly level, yearly level, or even custom dates. You can look at the whole team. In the settings, you can actually change the different groups of salespeople. So we have a group of Asia and we have a group of Europe. So here you can quickly see groups of the insights. and you can see specific pipelines, so the customer pipeline or any other pipeline. Now we're currently on the customer pipeline. You can see the total revenue. Average sales cycle is how long does it take to sell something on average. So from the start, from the first contact with the person until the opportunity was dragged to one. The average value of a sale, of a product sale, how many opportunities were won during this year, how many opportunities were lost. You can see the actual revenue, but you can also see the expected revenue. The expected revenue is based on the probabilities you can put into the settings. So if you have a probability in a certain stage in a pipeline, that will be taken into account to calculate the expected revenue for the coming year. Then there's a comparison of the current time period, which is this year, and compared with the previous period in the last year. You see the top earning accounts, so the companies you sell the most to. You see the top lead sources, so you can actually, it's a predefined field. I can show you later if there's still time. But I think it's almost done, right? But there's a top lead sources, top lost reasons, and then there's an analysis of the funnel. So where are opportunities in each stage of the funnel? And then for the team, it's more about the people. So who is most active, who sold the most, and most active means like this is the activity per rep. So if did they send a lot of emails, did they call a lot, is the most active rep. The most sold rep is the one that sold the most. Average emails that salespeople send, average calls they do, average meetings they have. Then there's a leaderboard per rep, closing percentage per rep. Then there's slipping deals, which is also important. So if
Lieven, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we do need to go. We're running a little late for Gavin. All right, for people who want to follow up with you, the best way for them to do it is what's a good way for them to follow up with you? And I know that they've got the link if they want to sign up right now and try out SalesFlare.
Yeah, if they want to sign up right now, but even on the website, anywhere, you can always contact us via the chat. And another way is just support@salesflare.com. It will automatically also go to our help desk. So, but the chat is, I think, the most easiest thing to use. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for being on here and for taking up the extra time. You gave me time to get my coffee. Gavin, feel free to turn on your camera when you're ready. My coffee, my tea.
Hi guys. I'm just trying to figure out
the webcam. Sure. Okay.
Lieven,
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for the invitation, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.